So Apple's keynote ended and we just learned about a bunch of new Apple devices. And in this video, we're gonna talk about the new iPhones, but if you wanna learn about the new AirPods and the new Apple Watches, I'll have another video linked right down below. So we're gonna kick this off with the new iPhones. First one being, of course, the iPhone 17. So the 17 is gonna be coming in 5 colors. We've got black, white, mist blue, lavender, and sage. For the most part, it looks very similar to the previous versions, but we've got a lot of improvements with the display. So we're looking at a 6.3-inch display, and it now finally has Pro Motion. And that's a feature that we've seen on the Pro models for a while. Basically with that, you're gonna get a 120 hertz refresh rate, and that means the phone is gonna feel really smooth as you go through it and as you interact with it. And it's going to lead to battery improvements because of the more efficient nature of it. So that is finally here on the base model. Thank you, Apple. It's also going to be getting a peak brightness of 3000 nits, which basically means it's going to get extremely bright when you're outdoors and it's harder to see because of the sun. And speaking of using it outside, it's also going to have an anti-reflective coating on it. So basically we're gonna see less glare on these phones, which is a huge deal. We've seen it on a few other smartphones that have come out recently, and I'm very happy to see it come here. It's also got ceramic shield too, which means it's going to be very durable, drop resistant, scratch resistant. So having that come to the base model as well, definitely a bonus. And now in terms of the processor, we're looking at Apple's new A19 chip. You know the deal, more efficient, more battery efficient. It's going to have more power, and it's also going to be able to just do more when it comes to their neural engine AI stuff. So we're going to see how it performs when we get our hands on it, but obviously that got a boost. Now the fun part here is actually the cameras. To be specific, the selfie cam. So across all the models, we're going to have this new center stage feature where you're basically going to have a wider field of view from that front-facing camera, and it's actually using a square sensor, and that unlocks a couple of really cool things. So when you have that square sensor, you're now able to pick different orientations as you're taking your selfies without losing any image quality. So this is great if you want to get more people in your shot, but the part that kind of blew everyone's mind in the auditorium was the fact that you can go from portrait to landscape mode with the press of a button. And what's also nice is that it will detect if somebody comes into your shot and it needs to get wider. It can do that automatically. And if even more people come into the shot, it'll also automatically go into that landscape mode so that it can get everybody in. I know it's gonna be a game changer for Ari. She's always like, can you hold it? Your arms are longer. Now, when it comes to the rear camera lenses, we've got a 48 megapixel Fusion main camera lens, as well as a 48 megapixel Fusion ultra wide camera lens. So we've got dual Fusion cameras over here, which is gonna allow you to have more flexibility when it comes to zooming in or even getting higher resolution macro shots. This is a really good upgrade when it comes to the base model. Now, when it comes to the battery life, Apple says it'll last you all day. We're gonna have to test that in a real day in the life. But they also mentioned that you'll be able to get from 0 to 50% in just 20 minutes of charging. Obviously, you'll need the right charger to do that, but getting to 50% now in 20 minutes, huge. But that's basically like the gist of the iPhone 17. Now, let's talk about the new kid on the block, the iPhone Air. This one isn't called like the iPhone 17 Air, it is just straight up the iPhone Air. So I'm curious if they're gonna call it like the iPhone Air 2 next year or something, but we'll see. But it's the new kid on the block. Now, in terms of colors, the Air is going to come in sky blue. We're also going to see it in space black, cloud white, and light gold. And this thing is thin, you guys. Like, it is insanely thin. The thinnest iPhone ever made. Who asked for it? We don't know. But Apple says that you still get the all-day battery life, and it's supposed to be really durable because it has the ceramic shield 2 glass in the front and ceramic shield in the back. So even though it's like super thin, it's actually really durable. Now, that is a titanium frame around it. It has like a polished finish to it. So you might see some fingerprints here and there, but if you're not throwing a case on it, that's on you. I would throw a case on that bad boy ASAP. But you also have all of the buttons around this. So you've got your action button, your volume controls, power button, and of course, the camera control button. Now, inside of this phone is the A19 Pro. So it is actually very similar to the iPhone Pro models, which also have the A19 Pro. But this one has, I think, one less GPU core than the iPhone Pro models. So it's a very slight difference, but you're essentially getting almost all of the performance of like a Pro model on something super thin and this small. And speaking of compact, it's actually right in the middle of both the iPhone 17 Pro models. So this is a 6.5 inch display compared to the 6.3 and the 6.9 that we get with the Pro models. And no real sacrifices with this screen. Like I said, 6.5 inch, you get ProMotion, 3000 nits of brightness, and it's got this ceramic shield too. So it's got all the things covered. I'm really curious to see how it performs in the real world with this thinness, the battery life. Speakers should be essentially the same as everything else, so I gotta see it in person. Now, in terms of the cameras, we actually have a single lens in the back, and this is Apple's 48 megapixel wide angle lens. It's of course Apple's Fusion camera lens, so you can zoom in up to 2 times. You have no optical quality loss. Apple says it's like having 4 lenses in one. I would have liked to see an ultra wide on this guy, but we'll see how it does when we get our hands on it. But I want to know what you guys think. Who saw this coming without looking at rumors? All right, so now let's take a look at the iPhone 17 Pro. Now, interestingly enough, this comes in 3 colors. We've got Cosmic Orange. Everyone kind of is loving the Cosmic Orange. There's also Refined Silver and Elegant Deep Blue. I'm a fan of the Elegant Deep Blue, but Cosmic Orange definitely feels like the winner here. Now, the biggest thing you'll probably notice is the back looks very different. So we've got way more housing for the cameras up top, and Apple has put like a lot of their processors and different things have been moved up into that section. That's why it's kind of like got that big hump, and that actually leads to more space for more battery. Apple actually increased the battery capacity on the Pro models because of this, so huge win there. And a little bit lower on the phone, you'll see that there's a section that has ceramic shield. This is where you put your MagSafe accessories, you'll wirelessly charge it. But I like the overall design. It's got that two-tone finish to it. I think it looks pretty good. Now, with Apple changing like the internals and moving things around, they've added something new. They've added a vapor chamber to the phone, which basically means intensive tasks like gaming, even charging the phone, things that would make the phone get hot, is going to have a much easier time dissipating that heat and spreading it throughout the entire body. So this phone won't be getting as hot as like the previous generations. And what that means is you'll also get way better performance. I think Apple stated 40% increased sustained performance from the new chip because of this new thermal design. So if you're somebody who games a lot on their phone, then you're gonna have a much better time playing for longer. Now, this display is very similar to the iPhone 17 Air, 3000 nits of brightness, which is insane, ProMotion, Ceramic Shield 2. You've got all the bells and whistles that Apple currently offers on this display. Now, let's talk about the cameras. Similar to the way the iPhone 17 got dual 48 megapixel Fusion cameras, this has triple 48 megapixel Fusion cameras. So that means the wide, the ultra wide, and the telephoto all are at 48 megapixels, which now leads to different kinds of zooms. So you'll have your 1 times, your 2, now 4 with the telephoto, and then you can go up to 8 times and still have full optical quality. So that means you won't see it degrade when you go as far as 8 times in, which is great. And if you really need to zoom in and you're willing to zoom in digitally, you can get all the way up to 40 times. So completely different zoom range, lots of options here. So obviously all that is going to be great when it comes to photos, but let's talk about video. Now, we all know iPhone is king when it comes to smartphone video recording, but Apple has just announced that it's going to also support Apple ProRes RAW recording right from the phone, which is kind of insane. Like, what are the file size is gonna look like for that? Because Apple ProRes log is one thing, but RAW? We'll do the real day in the life, all in that. We're gonna give that a try. Now, when it comes to the battery life, Apple is claiming that this is going to be the best battery life on an iPhone ever. I can't wait to see it. I'm a Pro Max kind of guy. Listen, I'll take all the battery I can get. With them moving all of those internals around, I'm here for it. Now, another feature that they're going to be adding is dual recording. So now you can record video of something, whatever you're taking video of, but you can also record your front-facing camera at the same time. That's gonna be great if you wanna show like your live reaction to something that you're seeing, or you just want your audience to see your face as you're showcasing something. A creator like me who's always talking about products, that's going to be great. What's also nice is that there's going to be like increased image stabilization when it comes to that front facing camera. So even while you're getting like a really stabilized shot with the rear camera, you can have a nice stabilized shot in the front at the same time. So that is awesome. And actually that front facing camera is going to be a lot more stable when it comes to like FaceTime. That center stage is going to make it so that you can have what looks like action cam footage right with the front facing camera. So that's actually going to be present across all of the different models, even the iPhone 17. Now, surprisingly enough, Apple also announced a MagSafe battery for the first time since making the one they made back for the iPhone 12, I believe. And this is a super thin wireless charging battery that you can throw onto the air. And it's so thin that you can still throw it into your pocket and not feel like you've added like a ton of bulk. Now, this battery won't work with the other models because it's a little bit longer and it's honestly just designed for the iPhone Air, but you could just probably like slap it onto the back, turn it sideways or something and still kind of make it work, but it's definitely designed for the Air. They say it takes it from like 27 hours of video playback to 40 hours of video playback. So a nice bump there if you don't mind keeping it on your phone the whole day. But that's all of the new iPhones, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Is that Orange Pro calling anybody? Because it's definitely calling me. The Air too, though, I'm not gonna lie. If it had like an ultra wide on it, I think I'd be even more interested, but I still wanna know what it's like to use it. Either way, I will use it and have all of my thoughts ready for you guys in future videos. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Let me know your favorite down below.